Hello everyone. We are giving a presentation today on revitalising the Queanbeyan CBD. So my name is Tracey Lamont. I am the coordinator here for Place Management, Queanbeyan Regional Council. And
I'm Joanna Wherry and I'm the coordinator for community at Queanbeyan Regional Council. Thank you for having us.
Yes, it's very exciting. And Eamon, yeah, wow. How fantastic to see all those resources. But anyway, we'll move into our presentation. And first of all, we thought it would be a great idea to actually set the scene. So just a little bit of background. It was about 8 years ago that economic development, tourism and place was actually looked upon here after we amalgamated as something that the council at the time felt would really benefit our LGA. So what I'm saying there is it's only 8 years since we've actually had a real focus on economic development, tourism and place. So the other part that goes with that is Queanbeyan, for those of you that aren't aware, is basically 10 kilometres away from Parliament House. And over the past couple of years, well, quite a few years, we now see 60% of our population driving into Canberra every day to go to work. So Queanbeyan has been given the lovely tagline of Struggle Town. So that's sort of setting the scene for the past, and we'll move forward to what's happened in the very recent timeline. So with all that in mind, for many, many years, Queanbeyan CBD has been in a slow decline, with the majority of our independent retailers now disappeared and the rise of services, nail shops and barbers moving in rapid way. So in 2017, the then Business and Innovation team, which Jo and I were a part of, started the long road of developing plans and strategies to enable a positive direction for change in the CBD. So the first cab off the rank there was a transformation strategy, which was developed and adopted in 2017. So the overall vision for transforming our CBD was to create a flourishing commercial centre that provided a vibrant social lifestyle. That strategy had 3 strategic key focus points. The first one being to create an identity for our CBD, to connect our CBD, and to enable investment in our CBD. So following on from the transformation strategy, in 2018, we were very busy across a 4-year period. In 2018, we saw the development of our retail growth strategy. In 2019, we re-looked at our spatial master plan and gave that a major refresh. And all of those 3 strategies then fed into the Queanbeyan CBD Place Plan, which came about in 2020. And Jo and I worked very closely on that. And it was fantastic to have those 3 previous strategies and plans feed into the place plan. It was very important to get an overall vision, which then fed into the place plan. So as I've mentioned before, for those of you that aren't aware of the Queanbeyan CBD, for a very long time, I dubbed it the land of beige. It was very, very beige. It seemed like that was the only paint colour that people could buy in Queanbeyan. And parts of that today are still very beige, even though it's one of the most multicultural communities outside the Sydney metro. And driving through the town centre, even today, there is really no indication of actually who lives here. So in developing these plans and strategies from a place perspective, it became evident really quickly that our CBD was designed and planned for cars rather than pedestrians. We have 6 huge blocks that make up our CBD. We have incredible high volumes of traffic, as our main street is the state highway, and we have a serious lack of pedestrian safety and amenity, which meant that our footfall around the CBD was basically non-existent. So our place team's role back in 2019, and our place team at the time was the 2 of us, so I just thought I'd throw in there, was to put together a plan which included key projects that were outlined in the Spatial Master Plan refresh. It was a really, really busy time, and it was exciting for both Jo and I to think that we actually might get something off the ground that could be a game changer project for the CBD. As up until that time, there'd only been 1 commercial DA in our CBD in the previous 12 years, and that was Dan Murphy's. So we're all very grateful for Uncle Dan, but seriously, it was amazing to actually look back at that fact. So before we began actually looking at what projects could even be viable to get off the ground, we felt that it was really important to benchmark where our CBD was at the time and to try and determine through what community consultation, what the community thought of certain spaces around our CBD. This is where we brought in Inhabit Place to conduct some surveys across 4 key locations. So what came back from that data was that those 4 key spaces were perceived as very tired, very unsafe, with a huge lack of amenity. So they were the big 3 standout comments that we had in our survey responses. We also looked at trying to sort of benchmark the place experience for our community, and we did some amazing work with Place Score to actually look at experience assessments across 6 key locations. So I'll hand you over to Jo. That sort of sets the scene as to where we were, and I'll hand you over to Jo to give you a little bit of insight into our laneway project, which was one of a major project from the Spatial Master Plan and the Place Plan.
Thank you, Tracey. So introducing the laneways, I mean, to be honest, I think the pictures really do speak for themselves, and I'll just let you really have a good look at those and let it sink in. The middle picture in particular is a firm favourite. So just remember that when we show you the after photos as well. So introducing the laneway. So here we have Blacksmith's Lane, and on the direct opposite side, we have No Name Lane. So the development of the place plan was great because it allowed us to have conversations with landlords and engaged business owners across particularly Minare Street, our main street, which is also the King's Highway. So you can just imagine the amount of traffic we have coming straight through from Canberra out to the coast. So a really busy street, but we felt the laneways in particular really needed a bit of TLC. And the vision for transforming these spaces has been held in by council and Tracey. A lot of the historic work that Tracey did in the team was to activate those spaces. So you'll see in the image on the left, Blacksmith's Lane, the Corten signage, the chalk artwork, which was done with a local youth group as well, and just a party, I think, that you put in there, and the lighting. So just kind of starting that journey of activating the space and showing people what the potential was. We applied for the Your High Street Fund to renovate the laneways, and we were really lucky and we were successful and very grateful to get $505,000 to enable us to redevelop those 2 laneways as key initiatives from both the master plan but also the place plan. Now, without the support of the 4 adjacent land owners or the landlords of these laneways, we'd have never been able to get this project up. So we were very grateful that they understood and were brought along on that journey of that redevelopment. One landlord in particular really shared the vision that we have had and still have for Queanbeyan, and we continue looking for opportunities to work with those landlords today. So you'll see the 2 narrow ordinary laneways. They connect the main street to car parking at the rear of the town. And as we said before, with pedestrian amenity and footfall being really low and pedestrian safety across the CBD being low, these laneways are really key pedestrian connectors. So it was really important for us to make these safe, welcoming spaces. So the transformation itself incorporated a significant public offer in both lanes, telling different stories. One, the history of Blacksmith's Lane, the owners and the operators who worked in that space, and then in No Name Lane, transforming that into a public art location as well. We undertook new footpaths, we did underground infrastructure, rerouting sewer lines and all sorts. We installed trees and planting for some much needed shade. We installed seating and a high quality lighting offer as well. Now, alongside that project, we actually undertook a lighter, quicker, cheaper initiative as well. So in February 2021, whilst planning our major laneway project, we turned our attention to Queanbeyan's Eat Street, Crawford Street. We got some funding from local government New South Wales local council programme, which enabled us to upgrade the existing hoarding, which you'll see in the picture on the left, from something that was really tired, outdated, invited graffiti, to something fresh and modern and colourful and vibrant, with a COVID relief kind of message of healing together. Next, we installed cable drum, tables and movable seating. We have some umbrellas there as well that you'll see. And yeah, I mean, they were new and now they're old. So it's gone really quick, and they were approaching their 4th summer. We were told by many people in council and the community that we were crazy and those chairs would all be stolen, and we've only lost 1. So we really wanted to make it very clear that we were trusting the community, providing ownership, giving opportunity for local businesses and cafes to not only transition out of that COVID lockdown situation, so allowing for social distancing, allowing for additional outdoor dining opportunities as well. So there was the economic background to that as well. And then, yeah, following the activation, we undertook some feedback gathering as well and had some surveys. And as you can see from the surveys, we had a kind of an indication from the community that they wanted to see more street art, increased shade, increased greenery, more lighting, and also cleaner footpaths, upgraded public spaces and improved accessibility. Which was great because that's what we were aiming and did in fact deliver through our Laneways project that was happening at the same time. So that was a really great thing to hear from the community, that we were absolutely on the money in terms of what they wanted to see in town. So just a quick overview, what we did the lighter, quicker, cheaper activation on Crawford Street. That was really instant. It was really quick. The community had the, really quick impact of that. And it was really easy to see those offers being used and utilised. We did the Menara Lanes renewal, connecting those key areas of the CBD, increasing pedestrian safety and amenity. So a little bit more of a medium-term kind of project in terms of the community seeing it come to fruition. And then alongside that, again, we have this as significant public investment with the development of our new civic and cultural precinct. So whilst that kicked off first, obviously being a major capital works project, took quite some years to get underway and to be completed. So that was the kind of 3 projects in one.
So where to from here? So obviously our master plan and the 3 other strategies that we did from 2017, they are still current. The time is ticking to implement further elements of those plans and strategies. Key players in the CBD were brought along on that master plan journey. We did some really fantastic community and business consultation throughout that master planning project. And we managed to encourage quite a few of the big players in town to actually take council seriously on what we were trying to do for the CBD. Those conversations were listened to by them, and to date we have some very, very, very positive new developments, hopefully coming up in the next 12 to 18 months, with 2 significant ones actually identified, which is amazing. So we're also, as Jo said, one of our laneway adjacent landlords has the same vision that we do, which is amazing. And he is actually looking to further do a further activation there in the laneway that includes shipping container food trucks and little pop-up bars and just to sort of try and kickstart a little bit of a nighttime economy there in the laneway, which is fantastic because that laneway, as Jo said previously, feeds into our new civic and cultural precinct and the back car parks. So it's a really important connector. We also do as well have some imminent residential and commercial development on the other side of our new civic and cultural precinct on Rutledge Street, which will further activate and bring more people into the CBD. And we're hoping that will activate further private investment. So we're also looking forward to how the place management, my team, which is me, can work further with Jo's team in community to try and do a hell of a lot more together to continue this fantastic and hopefully, insightful new revitalisation of our CBD. So thank you very, very much for listening.
Thank you very much, guys. That's excellent. And do you think that these sort of small intervention projects, the catalyst placemaking projects that you guys started off with many, many years ago, have helped the community accept the change that's going to sort of be happening in the community over the longer term?
Yes, I do actually. As I said before, we have done a hell of a lot of consultation with not only the broader community, but the business community.
Yeah.
There were quite a few big projects outlined in that master plan and in the place plan for that matter. And people now realise that the pedestrianisation of your CBD is absolutely critical to the longevity, the vibrancy, and all those things that go with really strong economic development. So we're hoping that and now that we are actually in our new civic cultural precinct, that is a huge investment. It was a $75 million project, and council at the time felt that was really important to show that council is leading.
Yes.
And we do think that has been a very, very, very positive contributor to all these other things that are imminently happening that will go towards changing the face of our CBD.
Yeah, that combination of sort of lighter, cheaper, quicker
Yep.
projects combined with major capital works investments so people can see real long-term change.